Tennessee's title odds, winning the SEC title out today. So if we can go ahead and pull that up and go through it. The University of Tennessee, I think people, the national media is really split, Caleb, on the Vols. I think some people believe that Tennessee's going to take that next step, that Nico's going to be a special quarterback. Other people are in this wait and see mode. For instance, Greg McElroy picked them at 8-4. I just really scratched my head at that one. I feel like the national media is a little split on Tennessee. Do you?
Yeah, I do. They're very split on Tennessee. But I will tell you this. Is this the first time since 2007 that Tennessee's had at least as good of odds as Alabama to win the SEC?
Well, let's get to those odds right now. And they're brought to you by the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Go to Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com, Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. All right. So what are the odds? Who's got the best odds to win the SEC? I'm going to bet it's Georgia.
It is Georgia, and who's going to get mad at that? Vegas has way too much on the line here, and I think this is one of the most clear fields ever where it's I think the SEC title should be Georgia versus the field. It's not, but I think it should.
Wow, who would you take, Georgia versus the field?
I personally would take the field, but it's significantly debatable.
Yeah, I would take the field, but it's very close in my mind too. All right, so what are their odds, and do they have the top odds to win it all among all teams across the country?
Oh, we already did that. That was FanDuel a few weeks ago, but
okay.
This is Bet Online that we're doing here. So Bet Online has for the SEC, Georgia's plus 200, and this is what throws me off. Texas is number 2. That already throws me off a lot, but Texas is plus 250. Dave, how is Texas that close to Georgia in odds to win the SEC?
Well, I think I can answer that because I was talking to a guy just a couple of months ago about how how Tennessee tends to move the line because it's a big betting state. And he had covered Texas, and he said, you'll see the same thing. So Texas will move the line because so many people bet on Texas. So
basically, guys, get rich fading Texas is what they're saying.
That's what the guy told me. And he's a longtime media member. So I think that's why I don't think they deserve to be. Who's number 3?
Okay, so number 3, then you have a big drop-off. Number 3 is Ole Miss at plus 650. I think Vegas has no idea what to do with Ole Miss. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they have no idea what to do with Ole Miss right now.
I think Ole Miss and Tennessee are 2 of the biggest head-scratchers in the nation, and definitely the SEC. So what are Ole Miss's odds?
Plus 650.
Plus 650.
Not bad, given the talent they brought in.
Pretty solid bet. I mean, Lane Kiffin, like he almost did at Alabama in 2009, is going to take a team and out-scheme somebody and win with lesser talent. Can he do that against Georgia in an SEC championship game or against whichever team that might be more talented he has to face in the college football playoff? We'll see. All right, who else?
All right, so then tied at 4th is at plus 900 apiece. Tennessee and Alabama are both tied for 4th at plus 900.
That is insane. If I would have told you that a month ago. It's funny how fast things have changed. That Tennessee and Alabama, which is the better bet at plus 900?
I think Tennessee. I think Tennessee's a better bet.
Well, you know that I think things are going to fall apart in Tuscaloosa. So you know my answer. And it's more because of Alabama than it is because of Tennessee. But yes, if somebody made me bet a mortgage on one of those 2 teams plus 900, I would take the University of Tennessee over Alabama. Insano.
Yes.
Kalen says we don't know what Nico is going to do this year. We have first-year redshirt freshman quarterback. We put a wrench in the Vegas odds. They will change after the first few games. I think they will after the Chattanooga game. And people don't know what to think about Nico. That's why I think it's a good time to get on board Tennessee, because I think after the Chattanooga game, what you said it was plus 900.
Yeah,
it'll go to like plus 500. plus.
You think
14.
Vegas would overreact to a game against an FCS school? You think they'd react like that to a game against an FCS school? They're like known for not getting fooled like that.
NC State's second, right?
Yes.
Okay, I will say after that. I will say the odds right now will be around plus 500 for Tennessee to win the SEC after those first two games because I think they're going to play lights out.
I'd say after the Oklahoma game, you might be talking Tennessee at plus 150, plus 200.
Whoa! That's almost even money, Caleb.
I know, because I think Texas is going to fold. And Texas Hold'em fold, get it? But anyways, I think Texas is going to fold, and I think it'll be very clearly a Tennessee-Georgia race by October.
Why do you think Texas is going to fold?
I think they were overrated. I watched them last year. They beat a bad Alabama team that got good after that. And they lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Washington in the playoff. They're not a good football team. I don't think they're that good. I think they have a good quarterback in Quinn Ewers, but I don't think I do think they're overrated. Their defense is terrible.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. Outside of those top four, which is Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia,
Texas is in that top.
And Texas. So outside of the top five, does anybody have an opportunity to win an SEC title, or is it just those five? I'm not even sure if it's those five. So I'll ask Caleb, how many teams actually have an opportunity to win an SEC title this upcoming season? The show represented by Banks & Jones, 30 seconds. Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott Jones. BanksandJones.com. How many teams in the SEC have a realistic opportunity to win the conference this year? Big Luke says, and I think it's the first time you posted, Big Luke. Thank you. Welcome to the program. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss are the four that stand a chance of winning a championship. So
Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, and Ole Miss.
Those are the ones that Big Luke says. That's Big Luke. So
yeah, LSU is the one not on here that we named those top five that I think could. They're right there at sixth, and they're at plus 1,000. I think what's hurting them is Brian Kelly just came out and said they're going to keep Harold Perkins at middle linebacker. It's Leonard Little all over again. However, they've, to Brian Kelly's credit, apparently it's because Harold Perkins wants to play middle linebacker to help his draft stock because he's a little bit so that's what that's about. But you're hurting LSU. You're hurting the team by doing that. But you know,
what does it matter? It's all about, it's a me society nowadays. I'm going to I'm going to say that Ole Miss, I'm talking about having a realistic chance of winning the SEC, would be Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, of course, and Tennessee. Those are my only four. Those are my only four that have a realistic shot to win.
Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and Georgia?
Yes.
So you fully agree with Big Luke?
I do. I'm on board with Big Luke.
Yeah, I am too. All right, here's one thing I could say in Texas's favor that I think people are missing, and I kind of forgot this part. I'm sorry, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but Greg Sankey gave them the easiest schedule possible to enter the SEC with. And so it was kind of funny. And so I think based on that, it's possible that Texas could at least get to the title game because their toughest game, I mean, now they do get Georgia, but they get Georgia at home. Of course, when Greg Sankey set the schedule, the idea was Alabama would still be elite. And they do get Michigan on the road. So it's not like Texas doesn't play a schedule, but again, they get Georgia at home, and then the rest of the schedule is Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt. I mean, we're talking like the bottom feeders of the SEC they get, pretty much.
I just I don't think there are going to be as many elite teams as there has been in the past. When I talk about elite teams, Alabama and Georgia to have two of those. How many elite teams would you say that college football has had over the past 20 years? Alabama, Georgia has done enough, definitely. Miami in their second run.
Miami, they haven't won a title in the last 20 years.
Oh, am I getting my years mixed up? Okay, who else?
The last title was 01.
Okay, yeah.
LSU, because they've won 2 titles. They've won 3 titles the last 20 years with 3 different head coaches. That has to matter. Florida was elite with Urban Meyer. They were elite. So LSU, Florida, Alabama, Georgia. Oh my gosh, Clemson, those 5. Ohio State?
Yeah, maybe.
6.
With Urban Meyer, not with Ryan Day.
Yeah, with Urban Meyer. 6. Do you want to say Michigan after this year? I can't go Michigan because I just think they've had too many like Tennessee style years the last 20. So I'm gonna go 6. Wouldn't go Auburn because they just bought Cam Newton and won a national title for a year doing that. But they have that, if you go back 20 years, Auburn has had 2 undefeated seasons in the past 20 years.
I don't think they're elite, though. I think they're just short of that.